I am Chair of Humanities, Fine Arts, and Social Sciences Division at WVU Parkersburg. And my presentation in the CTE focused on my dissertation results. And what I want to share with you about those is that I studied 5 asynchronous communication tools that are used in online learning, and I studied the WVU Parkersburg campus students. So some of the results that we found as a result of that study is that students are more familiar with email and discussions as tools that they use. Asynchronous is tools that are used when the person is not there at the same time as them. So that it's what they use to get the material across because they're not present in the course at that moment. That person being the instructor to the students. Make sense? Okay. So email and discussion are the ones that students are most satisfied with. I would gather that that's because they're most utilized. I think most students who have an online course are familiar with how to use a discussion post, even if they don't like them. And they're also familiar with how to send email. The tool that students liked the most was actually a pod or a vodcast. So a podcast, of course, is an audio file that has information for the student to listen to, and then the vodcast is more of the video file. So if a presenter has or an instructor has their lecture, and it's available through video or through audio with a PowerPoint in the background, or actually in the foreground, and then they talk their voices in the background, then that is what students enjoy the most. I would say that the reason for that goes along with the other component of my research, and that looked at whether or not social, teaching, or cognitive presence was apparent in the online classroom. So let me explain quickly what those are. Social presence is if the students in the class, in an online class, are able to interact with each other. And most commonly they do that through a discussion board. The cognitive presence is how the students begin to interact with the content of the course, the material that they are learning. And then the teacher presence is how the students are interacting with the teacher in the course because they never usually see them face to face. We have very few synchronous courses currently being offered. So the result is then that they feel more of a presence in a course if they have a podcast or a vodcast, so audio or video, because they like to hear the voice of the instructor or to see the instructor. Either one makes them feel more connection to the course. I do not actually have a number on how many do, but I do know it's an area where we need to learn and we need to grow. So at the Center for Teaching Excellence, we will be doing more sessions to teach faculty how to create those and the reasons why those are better in the classroom. Because students have said in this research study that it helps them with their learning process because they feel more connection than they do just receiving emails. And it's kind of the same way from a teacher perspective, because if I don't ever hear your voice and if I don't ever see your face, then you're just a name that shows up. And while I get a little bit of a reflection of you and who you are through your writings, I don't get to know you the way I do in an online course or in a face-to-face course. So it's just a matter of perspective. I also discovered that students do better if they've had 3 or more online courses. So that's probably through trial and error. The first online course is always a little more difficult for students, and once they've had 3, then they're kind of getting in a groove, and then it really doesn't matter if the instructor doesn't use all the tools correctly. At least they know how to use them, and they're able to learn despite all the, what I would call, noise that's going on around them. The other thing that we discovered is that it's better if full-time faculty are doing the introductory courses, because they usually have the most knowledge in the area and they're on campus and they have familiarity with the students. So if they teach the introductory course, then they're able to engage the student more often.